Ken Virtuous TV, and make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Anyway, I wanted to hurry up and get to the point. That's why. So in this presentation that I'm about to do real quick, I had just this little epiphany that came to me in a previous video that I was doing that will be uploaded soon. And one of the epiphanies was, you guys know how in ancient Egypt, right? That's what we're calling it. Ancient Egypt. We talk about, and I'm going to be politically correct when I say this. When we are talking about and I'm going to specifically say pharaohs, the pharaohs of ancient time, that is of the bloodline of Ham, right? That is of the bloodline of Canaan, Futs, and Mizraim, and Cush, right? And these Cushites, oftentimes we have a depiction of an Arabic nation. But the problem with this depiction is that it is contrary to the hieroglyphs. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to go back where I was. And so, why do I have these Greeks up? Because I'm going to keep going. There was a video that Camario made. Camario Ahu, check out his channel, if I'm saying his name correctly. And he made a video correlating Rome and the Hebrews of Rome to Egypt, and how, if you go check out the video, and how the Hebrews, Moses was raised knowing he was a Hebrew in the house of Pharaoh, right? You can go check out the book of Jasher on how the name Pharaoh, I said this in a previous video, came to be known as kings of, the Hamite nation, right? If you ruled in Egypt, if you will, right? And so I wanted to, in this correlation, he talked about how the Greeks, and if you read about Rome, and of course Rome is in Europe, and you hear the observation concerning mankind and its peopling by Benjamin Franklin, and he lets you know that these European nations, they started off as black folk. They are black. And when I say black, I don't mean that they are, less than society. I mean that they have brown hues of complexion that almost darken, making them look as if they were black. They had dark skin. They were swarthy, right? And so here's these ancient depictions of these dark-skinned Greeks. Oftentimes you will see associated with these dark-skinned Greeks Hebrew. This is why he does the correlation with his sources and places them together. You can go check out his channel, as I said, Camario Ahu. Great stuff. But that's not what I'm trying to get into today. I wanted to get into Europe. You know how in Europe there were early depictions of, let me get into history. Y'all can go check out my Pinterest page if you like. I have some cool stuff. I just kind of put together things that I like. But anyway, getting back into it, I won't bore you with my moving around, so I'll just pause for a little. I know a lot of times in European history, we see a lot of these elaborate hair where they tell you that these curls are wigs. They tell you that these curls are wigs, and we know that that's not true. And if you don't, well, you will learn today how that's not true. So I'm trying to get how to formulate this together. So if you watch the video about how Camario correlated the Romans to the ancient Hebrews, and how they came out of Egypt and created, ruled, the scepter, will not leave the hands of Judah, and how, the descendants of Judah ruled in many of these European countries. And one of the things that were noticeable is the curls that were worn. Oftentimes you see early depictions of Europeans wearing heavy curls. And I thought to myself, this reminds me, the curl patterns in which they're always, because we know white people hair are flat. Naturally, you have some white people hair who is wavy, but none of their hair is the coils in which you see depicted on a lot of even the white European drawings of kings and rulers. So the reason why I'm getting into that is because when you see how the Hebrews went to school, and as Moses went to school with the ancient Egyptians, right? The pharaohs of that time, and the customs in which a lot of the ancient Egyptians still do to this day, whether they know they are those people or not. They still practice it. And so I wanted to get into that, guys. I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, because there's so many things going through my mind that it's hard to articulate some of what is going on in my mind. But I just wanted to get into some of these coins, and I wanted to also get into European hairstyles. And I wanted to show the curls, though. I wanted to show curls and coils and certain things that are in Europe that people said was Slavics. They say, oh, look at their hair. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up a European, well, basically what I'm trying to get into. I'll pull it up. I'm sorry, I was not even recording the whole time, y'all. I am so sorry. All right, so I proceeded to just explain how you saw the Roman bust of the sculpture of the Roman noble, whoever this man was in Rome, this Roman noble, and then the same hairstyles of the ancient Egyptian, and how some of the way Europeans wore their hair could have been, this is just conjecture, conspired by that of Egypt and how they wore their hair. As we know, Moses and several of and the Hebrews at one point lived side by side and went to some of their schools, and did some of their customs, even in burial, the Hebrews did. And so I just wanted to go on and show the correlation, and just saying, using process of elimination, one can determine who also is the ancient the pharaohs of Egypt, and the peoples who belong to the pharaohs of the Hamites and the Canaanites, and those of the house of Cush and Mizraim and Futs, and I think I said Mizraim, and Canaan, all the descendants of Ham. And you can tell by customs, the way one wears the style of hair, the traditions and cultures will be the determining factor of who these ancient people are. And so when watching Camario's video and showing how these descendants of Hebrews left out of Egypt, right, and then they began to build their own civilizations in Rome, and how they he began to just show his sources and evidence of that. Again, go check out his video. But I'm just showing you how you saw the Roman crust or bust of that sculpture of that Roman, noble, and then seeing some of the way the hair is styled, in ancient Egypt. And through just process of elimination, we can tell you who Pharaoh descend from. So I found this video of these Ethiopians, some of them being Oromo-Ethiopian, who have the same custom and wear their hair as the ancient pharaohs did of what we now call Egypt. So I wanted to play this video. Hope you guys can see.
The Afar tribe is found predominantly in the Afar region of Ethiopia, but a smaller population.
And remember, this is why the hair is white.
On the coast of Eritrea and the northern part of Djibouti as well. Afar men are well known for rocking buttered hairstyles.
Buttered
They're most
hairstyles.
known for their data hairstyle, which is being shown in the video right now. Sticks are used to obtain their near-perfect coils and curls,
and
the
again,
butter helps to...
And the reason why I'm presenting this video is because in Europe, they told you that a lot of the hair, like I said before, the hairstyles was done. They said those were wigs, but that's false. Again, the correlation that Camario in his video made to the Hebrews who ruled in Europe, right? And the connection they had to Pharaoh in Egypt, where the pharaohs of Egypt wore their hair with these buttered curls, that they used butter, and then they began to curl the hair around a stick to get these beautiful huge curls. And this is how the Europeans wore their hair. It was not a wig. And the only reason why they said there was a wig is because white people could not naturally acquire these curls. And there's illusion. White people's hair is flat and straight. And even when it does come into a curl, it's almost certainly a wave, or it can be sometimes a spiral of a curl, but not the curls that are depicted on that of the kings of Europe. And just that connection, this is just me speculating now. This is how they began to curl. Because remember, when Madam C.J. Walker came up with straightening black curls, she didn't just straighten the hair. And a lot of black Europeans, when they came into the Americas, they curled their hair, right? Some of them using pressure heaters. All of this inspired from
maintain the style for days, as well as protect the hair from the heat of the sun. Bangs are cut to remove the hair from the face. Aside from the data hairstyle, the Afar men also rock an afro hairstyle known as asdago.
Now, I did have some ancient Egyptians who had also afros. I lost them. So sometimes when you think it's braids, it might be curls, right? And so it's just showing. And why is it so neat? Because they would cut it. As you see here, they cut it. And remember, if you just remember me showing the Roman, let's go back and see if we can find the Roman bust. Let's see if we can go back and show the Roman bust, because it'll also help. Again, you just see that Pharaoh and his men have the same hairstyle as these Ethiopians. I'm just saying, if one wants to know who the true Egyptians are, you can just look around. Don't look at the Arabics, because they're not at all. But anyway, I digress. Not even a little bit. The customs would stay the same. Girl, watch where you ride your car. Move your car over. Like, what is wrong with you? Are you slow? Here we go. Remember now, he's Greek. This is Greek. These are the Hebrews, right? As they're telling you, the Hebrews, the Jews of Rome, right? And look how his hair is curled. Does that not look familiar?
The butter used by the
Now,
men.
if you are not familiar, and I know how you're not, I mean, you don't read your word. Hebrews are not descendants of Ham. Hebrews are not descendants of Canaanites. Hebrews do not belong to Ham. When Noah cursed Canaan, okay, Canaan's curse is not the same as the Hebrew curse. Do you understand? So the Hebrews are not of the bloodline of Ham. So when John DeVan Pictorial Dictionary said that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes, what was he getting at? He was saying that Ham, okay, was the father of all dark nations except for the Negroes. They will look like Ham, but not be of Ham, right? And we know we're not Gentiles. We know we're not of the bloodline of Japhet. If you read the book of the Great Deluge, the chronological history of the Russian and Median Wars, Volume 1, and of the Great Deluge, you will be able to know the descendants of Japhet. Now, here is the Hebrew, this black man, clearly you can see, right? His phenotype, his hue of complexion, his hair is worn the same as that of those of the pharaohs of Egypt. And again, if you go watch the video that Kumario Ahu made correlating the exile of the Hebrews from Egypt, the exodus of the Hebrews from Egypt and coming into Rome and coming into Europe. And the scepter not leaving the hand of Judah, and how these Hebrew Judites, if you will, Judah's children, ruled in Europe. And so you see in Rome this black, I guess it's this black man, this black ruler of the same hairstyle of that of a man from Ethiopia, and seeing the connection on how some of the customs and practices and the way they wore their hair in Europe derive some, right, from pharaohs of Egypt, is what I was basically trying to make this video in my claim. Going on.
100% raw liquid cow fat. What makes raw butter such a great hair product, you may ask?
Here go another
While
one.
the fatty acids and the vitamins, specifically A, D, and E, in the butter all help to strengthen, soften, and add shine to your hair. Massaging it into the scalp can improve blood circulation and enhance sebum production. Other benefits include fighting oxidative stress, which can lead to graying and preventing hair loss. The aforementioned
These are twist
curls
locks
are a testament to its amazing properties.
Look at this. Mind you, again, the sculptures at the bottom are of Rome. They're from Rome. They're from Europe. Okay? Just making the correlation and the connections of the two. And how some of the way they wore their hair derived from that of ancient Egypt, the way they curled it. So sometimes when we see, sometimes even the walls of Mesopotamia. Let's go to the walls of Mesopotamia. Give me a few minutes. I wanted to go in and show again curls on the Mesopotamia walls and how they can be acquired. These are other Ethiopian tribes.
The Borana are a group of people who live in the Oromo region of southern Ethiopia and northern Kenya. Butter is used by their people to protect their scalp from the sun.
Common practice. That's also the Mayans wore locks. Again, you see the curls of the Roman. They say they're African, but they are not African. They're just Romans or Hebrews.
This next stunning group of people, known as the Hamad tribe, live
And
in the
all of
Omo
these,
Valley of
and
Ethiopia.
let me tell you
Hamad
something.
women use
All
butter
of
quite
these
differently than
people are literally depicted on the walls of the sculptures in Egypt. Do you understand me? They're all these people, you find them on the walls. You find them. So you know that when you ask who the ancient people of those towns are, the answer, they're there still. They're there practicing the same customs of old. So now we can rule out any other race. The Ethiopians are the pharaoh of several of these Ethiopian tribes are descendants of Pharaoh. Do you understand me? Are descendants of Pharaoh. Some of these tribes who are, some of the Cushites, Canaanites, Mizraim-Foot's descendants, they're all up on the wall. And then they gave a depiction. Hold on, let's see if I can find the depiction. All right, so here we are again. You see these people.
The tribes in this video. They are known to mix red soil with the butter to create a sort of dye. This red mixture is applied to the hair, which is twisted to form small dreadlocks. Hamed women let this mixture run
again
down
locks.
Their backs
you can see that also be influenced in the Mayan culture. I'm just showing a correlation between the two.
Ostrich feathers and
not that they are and this is
tied.
Not to say they are not the same people. I said influence for a reason. It was inspired. That's where they could have got some of the inspiration, or it could be vice versa. It could have been the way the Hebrews wore their hair, that the pharaohs of old and the children of Canaan and them got it from the Hebrews. But the reason why I said it in vice versa is because this is what we see on the walls of Egypt, right? So we're just doing a correlation, if that makes sense. Connecting the two, right? And again, like I said, these people are Oromo Ethiopian. When people are asking who is the pharaohs, are descendants of the pharaohs of Egypt. These are the descendants of the Pharaoh of Egypt. Sorry, I'm trying to increase it so you can see it. These are the people. These Ethiopians, these are children of Ham. These are the children of Ham. He just walked on out there. Like he didn't care about his life no more. And I'm just doing a comparison. And again, they're watching the same video I'm basically watching, showing you how they got these curls. And you know how they always show Jesus with that hair? You know what I mean? With the straight hair, it got to be wavy, it got to be this. Could it be that, again, that the Hebrews did live amongst Pharaoh, and that if his hair was curled, could it be of these customs that they were curled? Okay? So we saw of Rome, we saw, and now we got of the Mayans, the locks. Now our locks are a little different from their locks, the way we kind of let them be, but nevertheless,
to embellish
the locks.
Karayu people reside in the Awash Valley, located in the Fantale district, Ethiopia.
And I want to pause right here. Do you see that hairstyle that they got? Do you see that the way they wore their afro? There's an Olmec head with that same kind of haircut, if you will. And it's just showing you locks and black people of Mayan and yep. Because we kind of wore our locks just a tidbit different. And just showing you Nebuchadnezzar and his locks. Or Zeus. Oh, this is supposed to be Zeus. I thought it was Nebuchadnezzar. It kind of looks similar. All right, it's giving me a hard time not wanting to load up. It's just showing hair, blah blah blah, etc. But I wanted to get that Olmec head. Let's see if I can get it. Right here. You see how they wear that?
Karayu men are known for rocking their traditional gunfura hairstyle, a beautifully shaped afro that is covered with butter to maintain and keep the style in place. When married, newlywed Karayu young men make a hole in their gunfura and fill it with butter, allowing the butter to drip down their hair and their neck throughout the day.
Look. Okay, so I wanted to just, I'm in no way, shape, or form, this is not for crazy ass Pan-Africans, cause I know they'd be like, see, no, people can be inspired. Again, if you go watch that video, that of Camario's video, where he's showing the correlation between the Romans, the Hebrews, and them, I believe in them leaving out of, taking the Exodus and starting different empires and kingdoms throughout Europe. Okay? And I just wanted to show the connection of how these hairstyles, these curls and things that are worn in Europe could have been inspired, in my own opinion, from that of the House of Pharaoh. That's it. That's all. But anyway, share your comments down below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay up, stay blessed. I hope I wasn't too long. Put God first above all else. Peace out. Bye for now.